Hello there, welcome to Needles Whatever. In this video we're going to see how to create decorative cables on a knitted garment. This is my simple stockinette cardigan. It was created using an LK150 knitting machine. It's very simple, as you can see, no pattern, just some ribbing at the bottom here and under the buttons and the buttonholes. Now I've created this cable after it was done onto one sleeve here, going onto the back and then moving to the front. These cable patterns I'm going to replicate similarly onto the other sleeve here. In this case I haven't used a symmetrical pattern. My idea was to create something similar to a branch of a tree, going from the cuff, going up onto the sleeve and then further on onto the front and onto the back, as you can see. Now you could, if you want, create a geometrical pattern or a different pattern, for example a heart on the back, okay, if you want, or any other kind of motif that you like. In this case I'm going to go with something similar to what I already did. Okay, now what we need is these stitch markers. Okay, I use the plastic ones, and yarn. I'm using the same kind of yarn. This is, it was quite thin, so I used two, even to create the cardigan. I used two yarns, they are spun on the same comb, and I'm using a crochet hook. For this type of yarn I'm using the 4.5mm crochet hook. Before we start, we need to create a pattern of where we want our cables to go. I'm starting from the bottom and going up into something like this, onto the front and then onto the back. So I'm using stitch markers to mark my turning points. Okay, wherever I need to turn, I'm going to put a stitch marker. I want it to go up like this. Okay, and I keep going from here. I want it to go up to here. I'm just marking where to turn, basically. They will be handy because then once you start, you need a plan of where you're going with your cable. The good thing is that you can move from the sleeve also onto the back. Okay, so I'm going to go onto the shoulder and then turn onto the front and close off here. Now, okay, now I've taken my yarn here and I want to create a simple crochet, a simple crochet knot, just like so. Okay, I take it off the hook once I've done it. Now I insert the hook from the wrong side, from the inside, onto the top. Put in my knot, my simple knot, take it in from here. I keep it there. Now this I can take off. I go in from the top, pick it up, pick the same knot and bring it to the top like this. Now I have this tail which I do not need. I'm going to weave it in later, and I need I need this yarn. I just bring it over and into the knot that I created. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go from here to here. So I take the crochet hook, put it in just under one single stitch, okay, one whole single stitch, yarn over and pull through. I keep the direction where I have to go, so sometimes I have to take a slanted stitch, okay, diagonally. I'm moving diagonally upwards like this. It's very simple. It's always the same movement, so it's very easy to do. And you can create spirals if you want. It's always one single stitch. I go in, out from the other side, yarn over, pull through. One stitch, in and out. And as you can see, I'm forming this embossed cable. Okay, I just go, I'm actually moving two rows upwards every time. Okay, so I skip one row and go into the next. This, no, I didn't pull them all in. If you make a mistake, just take it out again, the crochet hook, and redo. Okay. Sometimes if you see that your direction needs to go a bit onto the left side, you just as you put in your crochet hook, you find a stitch that is further left, okay, to where I'm going. If I keep going on the same row, I'll end up with a one straight cable, okay, one like a column, but I want something diagonal. So sometimes I'm going into the next row, the next column of stitches. Okay, I skip one row and go into from the bottom to the top. Quite simple, as you can see. As soon as I reach the turning point, I'll turn. And now I'll turn over to the next one, okay? Okay, so I've reached my turning point. That's the first part of my cable done. Just remove this, and now from here I want to go there. So obviously when you go in with your hook, you make sure that you're picking up just one side of the sleeve, okay? You don't go in through the other side as well. You just need one underneath the same stitch, like this. Okay, now let's say that we're done, so that I show you how to close it off, okay? Then I'll continue later on. So once you're done, you just need to cut off the yarn like this. Now do one stitch without going through the garment, okay? So I end up with something like this, as you can see. But now this thread, I need to pull it in. So I take the crochet hook, I just go very close to where the edge of my cable is, I pull it in. Now what's important here is that once you've pulled it in, so okay, this is the extra yarn that I had. Once I have it here, I need to weave it under the cable that I just did, so it doesn't show, but it's important to weave it so that it stays inside. Otherwise, whenever you wash your garment, it tends to come back onto the top, or even you're wearing it and it get easily caught, for example, onto the wall or something, and you'll have it back on the top. So you just take it in and just weave it tightly underneath your own cable. That way it's harder for it to come up onto the right side. Okay, once you're done, you can cut it off as well, this extra slack here. And that's your cable. This is how it ended up. Okay. In this case, I didn't do any intersection of the cables. Okay, so every cable had its own path. I didn't intersect them, but you could. In that case, I would recommend that, so as not to have a very embossed pattern here. Okay, so as not to have a very thick pattern, I would do similar to what I did here. I would stop here with this cable, start here again and go on, and then the next cable that's coming from here, it will go on into the gap between them, and that will make them look as if they were crisscrossed and woven onto each other. But in reality, the bottom one is cut off. Okay, you wouldn't need even to cut it off. You just take it on the yarn onto the bottom, pick it up from just this width, like a centimeter apart, pick it up here and go back up. Okay, and in this case I just made them touch and turn. Okay, hope you liked it.